What's up, everybody? We are in the parking garage of my gym, but it's been a little bit. Through the few days that I've been thinking, I was trying to figure out if I want to continue the vlogs as they are, just have it be an update on everything that I've been going through, or if I want to add some substance because of the things that I know now. I don't really put my opinion out there too much. Most of the time it was just how things were going about my day. And sometimes I'll add my opinion. But I want to start being a little bit more opinionated now. So I'm going to use this platform as a chance to do so. Which leads me to the topic of the day, characteristics of a man. And these are things that I never knew. These are things that nobody ever told me about, that I had to learn from somebody screaming at me through a screen. Somebody that I watched that was constantly yelling at me, telling me, like, you're a screw up, you messed up, your life is garbage, you need to change, and you need to start doing this, start doing that. And over time, as I started doing those things, 3 characteristics came up that became so ingrained in who I am now that I can comfortably say I have transitioned from a boy to a man. So, here are the 3 characteristics that you should notice during your transition to become a man. Just got back from an audition that I absolutely just crushed. I did it in 1 take. Everybody else needed a few takes. Well, only 2 people went before me, but they had multiple takes. I did it in 1 take. They said, that's perfect. Literally verbatim, they said, that's perfect. Exactly what we were looking for. Thank you so much. And I was just like, nailed it. Absolutely crushed it. And usually you get a thank you and you leave. But to get that validation feels kind of good. And whether or not I get cast in it, don't care. I mean, killing the audition, and I'm most likely going to get a call back. So getting the call back, already a huge win. But I wanted to lead, there's no real segue into this, but I want to talk about my first point as I'm driving home from my audition. I want to talk about the first point. The first point of the characteristics of a man: accepting responsibility, and also / accountability. When you accept responsibility and when you take accountability for your actions, whether something bad happens to you, whether you weren't the root cause of this action or somebody else does something to you, in some way you can take responsibility for that, for allowing that thing to happen to you. Now for me, I was betrayed by one of my good friends. He did something to me that really hurt me. It's on him. I'm not saying I'm taking all the blame. It is on him for doing that to me. But it is also, wherever I can accept responsibility, I'll take it. So, that means I allowed him to do that. I was not perceptive enough. I was not responsive enough to his actions. And that's on me. If I didn't notice that, if I didn't notice all of the things he was doing, distancing himself from me, spending less time in our friend group, I didn't notice that. And he wouldn't, there were times when he and I just didn't talk for a long period of time. And it was weird to me. I felt a distance. So, what does that mean? It means that because I didn't notice it, I set myself up to get betrayed. That sounds kind of crazy. However, the reason why I say take responsibility for everything, take accountability for everything you can, and if you can find a reason to make it your own fault, then you have this now open air to change. You now have this landscape to change so that that thing never happens to you again. Because if you put the blame, if I just put the blame on that friend, if I said it's all his fault, he's a terrible person, he betrayed me, I did nothing wrong, I don't need to change. I don't need to grow. I don't need to be more perceptive of when people distance themselves from me and why. But when I take that responsibility, I can change for the better. I can start working on things that I normally wouldn't work on, like how to spot a good friend when a friend is distancing themselves, and why, and noticing these things. And it's important to notice these things because I think it happens to everybody. At some point, somebody you considered a good friend is going to hurt you. I think that happens for everybody, unless you were just in a friend group that never happens. But I would say 9 times out of 10, you're going to run into somebody that thinks of themselves more than they think of their friends. And with that being said, the reason for taking responsibility for everything that happens to you and everything you do, is so that when you fail, or when somebody hurts you, or you even hurt yourself, because that happens a lot too. When you do something that hurts yourself, when you take responsibility and accountability for your actions, you allow yourself to grow. You shoulder responsibility, and you become a better person so that those things never happen again. And that is characteristic one of a man. So we're back, and well, let's do a little bit of an update, shall we? So today, after getting back home from my audition, I spent a lot of time working on my business. I have a new product out, and I wanted to write an ad script for it. I've been working on it since yesterday, and it is complete today. So I've ordered the ads. They should be here in at least 3 days. I have a feeling I'm going to need revisions for him because he's got a lot of orders coming up, but I'm excited for these to see how these do. This could be a pretty good product. This is already a good product. I can already tell it's a good product. But I need to make sure these ads are in tip-top shape and they actually sell the thing. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they do in the marketplace. So other than that, I don't have good transitions. I can't segue into a point. So I'm just gonna throw it out there and say, this is my second point, the characteristics of being a man. Pain and suffering. Now, what do I mean by pain and suffering? What I mean is, you're able to withstand it. You are able to endure it in order to grow, in order to improve, in order to level up. And take, for example, going to the gym. If you go to the gym and you are lifting weights, you're doing weight training, what are you actually doing? What you're doing is you're tearing your muscle fibers. You're putting micro tears in your muscle fibers in an attempt to grow them, to have your proteins come in, replace the muscles, but grow them back bigger, because your body understands now that you're lifting these weights, lifting heavier weights, you need to be able to do that. So your proteins here, your micro tears, and you make your proteins, your proteins make your muscle fibers bigger, essentially. But what you're doing is you are tearing your muscle fibers. That hurts. It's painful. But you become stronger. You become better. You level up. So the marks of a man is to be able to endure that kind of pain, to willingly go towards that pain. And I think a lot of people at the gym I have a high respect for, because they are willingly enduring pain for the result of improvement. And that could be said in different areas of life, because I don't see boys going to the gym. I don't see boys. I see a lot of people in their 20s and a lot of people in their 30s, people that understand that pain is the path to improvement. Now, you could apply this in different ways. For me, with my business, I'm sitting here putting time and effort into a project that might not have the results that I want, aka my ads aren't good enough, my product's not good enough, and I don't make any money after I spent a lot of money. And that's painful to my wallet and also to my time. But I understand that if I want to improve and get better in business, I need to go through this kind of pain to grow. So, pain. And honestly, that's usually how we as men learn. I mean, think about it. If you could run every red light and not get caught, or if you get caught and you just get a warning, you wouldn't, especially if it's efficient for you, you'd be running every red light. Or, this is a better example, you speed down the highway. You're speeding, and you don't get caught. If you do get caught, you just get a warning. You're gonna keep speeding, but it will probably take a crash, a pretty fatal crash. Well, almost fatal for you, but it'll take a pretty fatal, near fatal crash to make you say, maybe I shouldn't speed anymore. An example of this in my own life, and this is just a small example. I have plenty of examples of going through pain, but an example in my life when it comes to automobiles. I once sped down the highway 90 miles an hour in pouring rain. You can probably guess what happened. I hydroplaned all the way from the left lane to the right lane, spun 3 times, hit the dirt. Thankfully, hit the dirt. I could have hit railing, I could have hit another car, I could have hit rock, but praise to the Lord, I hit dirt, probably the best thing I could hit. And my car came out of it with a broken tail light and just one flat tire. So I was fortunate for that to happen, but what that caused me to do was, well, first I went through some PTSD driving in the rain. So whenever it started raining, I drove significantly slower, but it reminded me of the mistake that I made and how it almost took my life. But even worse, it could have taken somebody else's. And that would have been on me. That would have been on my soul, my conscience. So knowing that, I learned my lesson. And there's plenty of examples, I'm sure. People will go through pain, people make mistakes. But to endure that pain and to continue forward, that's the marks of a man. What's up, everybody? Back. I did a little bit of relaxing. Since I put out some new ads. I could do more product research, find my next product, but I wanted to take some time to just relax, which is a problem because it is 11:37 p.m. and I am wide awake. Why? Because I had a coffee at 3 o'clock, and then after dinner I had an affogato. If you don't know what that is, it's espresso and ice cream. So I had espresso, and I just had another cup of coffee. So I'm wide awake right now, and since I'm wide awake, I might as well do some work. But I took a little bit of time just to relax, I've achieved quite a bit today. But moving on from that, the third point, I don't have good transitions. The third point, the third characteristics of a man is stoicism. And for those of you who don't know what stoicism means, I have a little bit of this isn't the actual definition, but it is in the face of chaos, in the face of emotional, in the whirlwind of emotionality, in the chaos of emotionality, you are able to stand firm and stand strong. And what that means is, it doesn't mean don't feel your emotions, because when you hold in emotions, you kind of just burst. But instead what it is feeling emotions but not showing it. I can feel happy, but I don't have to show that I'm happy. I can feel sad but not show that I'm sad. And the reason for this, I found, is it's not holding in your emotions. What it is actually is, especially if you have loved ones around you, it's becoming their rock. It's becoming their stability, their solid foundation that they can rely on when the world is broken down around them. Say something tragic happened to them. They got fired from their work, their job. They lost a loved one. And their world is crumbling down, and they are crying, they're emotional, and everybody around them is emotional as well. They're all swirling in emotion, they're all breaking down, they're all in a panic, they're all crying, or they're all in a state of fear and uncertainty. You stand there as their you don't panic. Maybe you have that fear inside of you, but you don't show it. Or maybe you're just as sad as they are, but you don't show it. You stand there as a bastion of stability in their life. And you say, everything's gonna be all right. We're gonna take care of this. It's gonna suck. And I understand how you feel, but I'm gonna be here for you. Even when you're feeling like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, even when you feel like you're going to be crushed by how crushing this event may be, you stand strong for the sake of others, for the sake of being that solid rock that they can lean on. That's stoicism. And sure, there's times for showing emotion. There are definitely times for that. But a man knows when to be stoic. A man knows when to hide his emotions for the sake of others. Hide his emotions and not suppress his emotions, but hide his emotions so that others can lean on him for support. In the chaos of the world, he is law and order. And that's a big responsibility. It certainly ties back into responsibility. But when I see people when I see men at a funeral not crying and everybody else is crying, everybody's crying on that man. His wife is crying on his shoulder while he stands strong, because he has to be her rock, her solid foundation, because her world's crumbling and his world could be crumbling too. But he's decided to stand strong and be that for others, for the ones that he cares about the most. That's stoicism to me. And that is a very strong characteristic of a man. So, with all that being said, I hope that you take these into account while you're living out your life. If you're not going through all of these, if you don't find these characteristics in your life, start developing them. It's a very difficult thing to pick up. Finding different ways that you're responsible for things that happen to you can be difficult, but it helps you grow. Finding ways to make sense of your suffering, make sense of your pain, and endure pain, and even pick up other things that are painful is tough. It's hard. And staying emotionally stable and strong while the world's crumbling around you, it's not easy. But when I see these in other men, I think that's a man. I can rely on him. I can walk alongside him. If he leads the charge, I'm right behind him, or I'm right next to him. And to me, those are three characteristics. There are plenty more, but those are the three characteristics that I could think about right now off the top of my head that I'm trying to develop. In some ways, I have developed a few of them, but it's a growing process. It's a process that I'm still going through. Stoicism's not easy. A lot of the times when it gets too hard, there are many times where I just want to say, man, I don't want to do this anymore. There are times when I wake up and I don't want to work out. But I made that commitment. I took that responsibility. And I'm not going to complain about it. No. I made this choice. I'm going to follow through, and I'm going to stand strong. I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to say it's too tough. But I'm going to ask for more. So, that being said, I want to get to your comments from my video, my day 90 video. I recently finished day 90 of NoFap, and I haven't gone over the comments for that video yet, so I want to go over those comments. Let's see. Vladicated. Day 90 already? That's awesome, dude. Really cool to see how much you've changed and grown through this. Keep up the great work, dude. I watched day 1 today. I watched day 1 of my NoFap, and I just looked at that guy and I said, man, you've come a long way. It's only 6 months, and I can't even believe how much I've changed. So, looking back, I'm glad I went through all of that stuff, but day 1, first attempt of NoFap, day 1, the title of the video was called Miserable, and it really does feel good to be free. But yeah, that was a trip. That was a trip watching my first attempt at day 1. Andrew, well done, brother. You've done fantastic. Keep going. Just remember that this is only the beginning, but I know that with God's grace, your journey will continue. That's what I know for sure. That God's got a lot in store for me. I know that. But there's certainly a lot of growing I need to do first before, getting more responsibility, being more of a steward. And I explained to a friend today, I said, the reason why you don't have the blessings you have now is because you're not ready for them. God knows you're not ready for them. So I'm still in that process of growing. Conquering NoFap has been fantastic, but there's definitely other areas of my life I need to work on. So I'm going to keep working on that. It's been a pleasure watching your journey, and I'm sure that we will continue to support you. God bless, brother. I appreciate that, Andrew. Thank you so much. I hope your NoFap journey's been going well. Keep it up. Stay strong, stay focused, as I always say. Mike, my brother Mike. Good job, brother. God has blessed you because you opened yourself to it. With his help, you flourished in masculinity and righteousness. Keep at it, and you'll grow in happiness and material success as well. I'm looking forward to it. There's certainly things I need to work on still, not just with NoFap. NoFap is just one aspect of the path of masculinity and the path of self-improvement. But to say that I've conquered it it feels good, especially with how long I've been addicted to it. So it does feel good to be able to say that I've conquered it. I would say that this is a monumental success in my life. So I do appreciate that. And I would like to, I've grown less happy, but I've grown more satisfied and more fulfilled in the things that I do. So, happiness is fleeting. Happiness comes one day and leaves the next, but knowing that you did a good job, I think it feels good. I want to keep pursuing that feeling. And material success, if it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If it doesn't come, I wasn't ready for it, and it wasn't meant for me. But if it does come, then I know that God has blessed me with it, and I want to be a good steward. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the future will hold when it comes to material success, because I would like to have a family. I would like to have money to support that family. I would like to use that money for the church, for service, for whatever God wants me to put it in. So, yeah, happy about that. You're welcome for whatever small support that I was able to give on your videos, bro. Just having just knowing somebody was commenting on my videos, just having somebody to interact with, that was a huge help. It was a huge help. Like, every comment I get is always a huge help. Because I know that, not only are people watching me, but I can interact with them. I can interact with people that have either gone through the same things that I've gone through, or are still going through it. So, yeah, it's been a great journey. I'm sure you'll keep us informed occasionally, trying to for sure. Meanwhile, put your additional free time to more sleep. Happy trails. I appreciate it, Mike. want to try and get some more sleep, but well, just like the contents of this video, I definitely have more thinking to do when it comes to. I have more time to think of more content to do, but it certainly takes up a bit of time. But I'm quite eager to see how well this video does. But for now, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you all for watching. Stay strong and stay focused. I'm with you guys. I know you guys are with me. I'll see you guys. Oh, I can't say tomorrow. Like that's so. I'm so used to saying that. See you guys tomorrow. But I will see you guys next time with hopefully more opinions I have on masculinity, on Christianity, on all of these things. And I hope it ends up helping somebody grow. So, till then, see you next time.